Hello and welcome to Music Toolbox. This is another Free App Friday. Today we'll be looking at Sound Uncovered, an app by Exploratorium, the fascinating natural history please touch museum type thing in San Francisco. Here. Somewhere, something vibrates and waves of pressure radiate outward like ripples in a pond. If these traveling vibrations reach your ear, you may hear a sound, but exactly what you hear and what you decide it means is tricky business. Ultimately, you owe your sense of hearing not so much to your 2 ears as to what's between them. And it's there, in the mind's ear, that sound gets interesting. Listen up. I don't know about you, but I am fascinated with sound, how sound works, how it travels, how it hits our ears, and how we interpret that sound. I've found it fascinating since one of my music theory teachers brought in a large plastic tube and swung it over his head to produce the harmonic series faster and faster. And ever since then, I've just enjoyed the topic of acoustics. In fact, when I wrote a theory class, I probably enjoyed writing the acoustic lecture the most. And when I did, I wish now that I had this great app. Sound Uncovered, the Exploratorium app, presents us with a variety of not optical illusions, but auditory illusions. It explains what we hear, and how we might interpret or reinterpret or misinterpret different sound effects. So let's go ahead and look at some of them. We won't look at all of them because there's too many, but there's a variety. So here, silent day, noisy night. Your campsite seemed quiet enough during the day, but at night you can hear every word from the group camped all the way across the meadow. What I like about this app is it explains what's happening. It talks about how warmer air and cooler air cause the sound wave or the noise being produced to be directed in different directions. And through simple navigation, you can move on to other auditory effects. For instance, this little app within an app lets you record sounds backwards. So I can record what I'm saying one way. And then play it backwards. Which is a lot of fun. So in this app, they show a series of videos where people are describing a sound without telling you what the sound is and asking you to pick the sound in advance to indicate what sound is going to be created or what sound they're discussing.
I feel like you never really hear that sound when you're actually doing it because there's too much else going on.
It's a very sharp, short duration sound.
Time is compressed.
Makes me think of rustling, of walking through rustling leaves.
Darkness, the start of something.
The Hunger Games.
Caves. I smell sulfur.
Phosphorus.
Birthday cakes.
Bunsen burner.
Marshmallows are coming.
Difficulty. Because, you're always on your last one.
This is interesting. It's sort of the speak and spell. And here you hear the same bit of a bedtime story, but in each case, the person reading the bedtime story is in a larger and larger reflective sound space.
I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. He
So this is a bedroom.
Very like me, from the heels up to the head, and I see him jump before me when I jump into my bed. The funniest thing about him
It's through a closed door.
not at all like proper children, which is always very slow, for he sometimes shoots up
Bathroom.
taller like an India
And this
rubber.
explains why we like to sing in the bathroom. So here's another one. In this one, they talk about essentially different scalar systems. And they asked you to name a tune that's familiar, but slightly different. So they're doing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, but in the minor mode. And here they show you the difference essentially between the minor and the major mode, and you can play through them. So they'll show you Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star in major, and you can click on these. And then in minor. So what I love about this is you can see exactly what the change in the scale has done to this. Here's another one. So really in a discussion of scales, this is kind of ideal. This is really quite interesting. I kind of like the minor blues one myself. So that one's kind of interesting. So that is Sound Uncovered from Exploratorium. There's a lot of great things to play with, a lot of things to interest your students in the science of sound or auditory illusions that relate to music, or auditory illusions that relate to composition or electronic music. It's just a really fascinating resource, and it can be used, in a music classroom or in a science classroom, or just as one-off things to give the students a treat. It's just a lot of fun to play with too, and it's free. So go ahead and pick up Sound Uncovered from Exploratorium.